Lauren Spearman.
Adam Franklin.
Got a sec?
Of course I have for you.
Lovely, jubbly. How's life? How are you? Okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I did a PT session this morning. I'm feeling so smug. I'm feeling
Oh,
so
really? Why?
really, it's just really set me up for the day.
I thought you meant like you achieved something specific in the session,
No,
but
just
just
did it. Just
yeah,
got out of bed at 6:30.
wicked. Love that. Do you do that often or?
4 times a week.
Do you? Jeez.
Yeah. I'm getting
Yeah,
get some
I was
muscles.
doing. Love it. I was doing a couple. I mean, obviously, I'm not a gym goer from my main aesthetic. But yeah, I was doing a couple a week, but it was just literally me and like a group of 60 and 70-year-old women. And they're all fitter and stronger than me. It was
Is
so
it
that
showing you up?
yeah, it's so disheartening. But yeah, do you enjoy it or do you enjoy the
Absolutely love
aftermath?
it.
Do you?
I'm someone that has hated exercise my whole life. I've
Yeah.
always seen it as torture, and I just happen to have landed on the thing that I really enjoy. So I just do strength training. My coach is just incredible. She's phenomenal. She adapts like based on how I'm feeling, where I am in my cycle, what time of the day it is. Like no routine is the same, and I love it.
Awesome, man. That's great stuff. And is it always the same time in the morning?
No, it's generally morning because I am a morning person. The thought of like doing it at 5 o'clock means I'll dread it all day. But yeah,
Yeah,
generally
definitely.
like 6 or 7 a.m.
Wicked, yeah, great. So I'm exactly the same. Just get it done and get it out of the
Yeah.
way, and it does work. It does like get you feeling better for the rest of the day. I just don't. I don't know if you saw a post of mine before where people get the endorphins like straight away. Mine takes hours. Like when I first finish session, I'm fuming, just like actually really angry, hot, stressed. Like if I had to talk to anyone immediately, I don't book calls after because I just be like, "What do you want?" I just literally hate life after a
Just
session. So
sweaty and red and I'm exhausted.
yeah, yeah. How quick after it can you feel good? Like straight away.
Oh yeah, it's literally as soon as I like if it's either as soon as I leave the gym or if it's in person or if it's online as soon as I press the red button to end the call.
Wicked, love it, cracking stuff. Well, anyway, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it. I'm not quite Oprah Winfrey level yet, but we'll see where we go. But I don't know if you've seen the other two sessions that I've done so far, but always start off with a bit of a silly question to kind of just relax us in, right?
Okay.
Um, so yours is going to be if you had to for a week switch jobs with a fictional character, who would it be?
Do you know who first came to mind? Don Draper,
Is that the
the
one from
Mad
the
Men.
Martian? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just because I love anything mid-century and his office, I would just love to work out there for a week.
That's wicked. Yeah, would you smoke loads?
Oh yeah, I like
Yeah,
full-on cigars.
yeah.
I'm partial to a little holiday cigar, you know.
I love that. I haven't actually watched it. I've seen a couple of episodes randomly, but I've never seen it.
It is absolutely brilliant, and it's just
Is
like
it?
the cinematography, the interiors, the set design, everything is just it's so sexy. Yeah, it's great.
Would- Yeah, and he's not bad looking either, is he? So, but yeah, cracking stuff. All right, cool. So yeah, well, this is gonna be centered around careers and work and stuff. And as I say on every session, episode, whatever you want to call them, if we can help one person, then it's done the trick. I'm not looking for
Great.
thousands of people to watch every time. So, yeah, obviously you're big on employment, recruitment, and people's careers, and sort of designing careers, I suppose, rather than just kind of getting jobs that you work 9 to 5 and just miserable on a Sunday evening. So, yeah, talk to me about careering, this new thing that you're building, because it is more around that, right? Around like designing and stuff.
Yeah, so as well as being a marketing consultant, I'm in the background. I'm building a new careers platform called Careering. So it's a platform, there's a mix of self-serve resources, group programs, and coaching. And the idea is that this is born off the back of 3 years of making content online about careers. And I'd say about 90% of my DMs are people coming to me saying, I'm really lost. I don't love what I'm doing, but I don't know what's next. And this is something that's come up time and time again. And then one of my second most asked questions or observations is, can I recommend a good coach? And I was talking to a friend who is now my business partner, and we were like, what? I can't scale that. I can't have one-on-one conversations, but what I can do is build a solution. So I think what I'm seeing now is, especially people who are 10, 15, 20 years into their career, we're often kind of following this ladder of this is what I think we should do, or this is what I think I should do, this is what's going to look good to someone else. But actually,
Yeah,
what's our own version of success, and how do we define what success means for us? And for some people, it's status, it's title, it's money. But some people, it's being able to walk the dog at lunchtime, or it's being able to leave at 4 o'clock without someone kind of, you have feeling like you have to watch your back. It's not doing a 3 hour commute. It can vary for different people. And I think that's what I am building. It's something that helps people work out what success looks like for them.
Awesome, that's great. So would it include people wanting to start their own businesses and stuff as well? If the job title was entrepreneur, would that still work?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, and I've seen that with my own career pivot, going from corporate life to being self-employed and now about to launch my second business. Like, yes, I may have 20 years of work experience, but the shift from corporate life to being like a business
Yeah.
owner is like, oh, it's eye-opening.
Yeah, 100%. It's because even though you think you're giving up a 9 to 5, but you're starting a six to
24/7.
ten. Yeah, literally, like waking up at 2 in the morning, like oh, and so a lot of the time people think it's like it's always stresses, but sometimes I'll be sat up 2 in the morning thinking about cool, exciting stuff, and whilst it's still my passion and what I love, you're still working at 2 a.m. like sat in your bed making ideas and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's like, I think especially online, it's very easy to see that, oh, I'm leaving early on a Friday or I'm having a nice long lunch. But it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, but I'm also working till midnight, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm also working on a Sunday. Like there just is, it's a totally different way of working. I think for me, the reason why it works so much is autonomy is one of my values, and I feel like I have much more autonomy over my career. And so
yeah.
that's why I'm enjoying it. But yeah, there's absolute pros and cons of both.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also being able to like always have a voice in the room as well, which is one of my biggest things. Not that I need to enforce my opinions and stuff on people, but when I worked in the corporate world before, just having good ideas and just having them shut down, and then it just really hits you back. You sit there doing your day to day thinking, but I know this would work better. And so when it's my own thing, at least you can kind of enforce that change as such, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. But it also means that if it goes tits up, it's on you too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that, which it usually does when I make decisions, but we are where we are. But yeah, no, you're one of the biggest sort of advocates and loudest voices, for want of a better expression, on salary transparency as well for jobs and on job boards and stuff. So, talk to me about that first, and then I have got a question for you off the back of it. It's not devil's advocate, but I've been thinking it for months, maybe longer. So, yeah,
Okay.
talk to me about salary transparency first and foremost.
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate for salary transparency. I think it's absolutely preposterous that one of the most important factors when you're applying for a role is often hidden. And I think that, there's absolutely employers that are like, well, if they really wanted to work for us, that doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, try and tell that to my landlord or my,
Yeah, yeah,
mortgage provider. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Yes, like, and I'm not saying it's often the only important factor, but it's one of them. And I think it's just this absolute circus and a waste of time for both the employer and the employee to not have that transparency up front. And actually,
yeah.
the government, maybe a week or so ago, they have just announced that they're launching a consultation to look at whether there should be laws introduced to make salary transparency, enforced salary transparency on job descriptions. And I know that happens in some states in the US, and like the workaround is they put a salary range that is just so ridiculous. But I think it's a sign that there's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. So when you say that, I saw your post about that actually. So when they're having a consultation, are they just going to basically meet and discuss it? Is that where we're at?
I think it's a 15-week consultation. You can submit your view on things, and I actually don't know what the consultation involves.
Yeah,
But for me, it's a really positive sign that this is, now at the forefront of conversation.
100%. So you kind of like walked me perfectly to what I wanted to ask you. And I think I first saw a post from you about this about a year ago, and I think maybe longer because I think I might have been running my IT company when I saw it, and I thought, well, what about this then? And the thing is, I always think if you get your back up about something, you're wrong. Like I must, like I've seen stuff, like not all men on LinkedIn. I don't mind admitting it. Sometimes I see something like, I don't do that. I'm like, well, the reason you said that is because you felt it at some point. Just shut up.
And also, yeah, we can come back to the normal men. But yeah, so let's come back to salary transparency.
Yeah,
What did
cool.
I get your
So
back about?
So I ran an IT company. It wasn't getting back up. I was more confusion than anything. But if we were looking for a salesperson in that job, it would be from 18K to 140K basic salary. So would you say we'll just put four job things out then, or how would that work? Because that would depend on what they were bringing in a month, experience, accounts, all that sort of stuff. So what would you say to employers? Because I know there are a lot of target-driven bases, whether it's IT or recruitment or just sales in general. What do they do to give their salary transparency?
Yeah, and I think I one thing that I hope comes out of this consultation is that there is a range rather than one prescriptive number, because I think you're right, especially like a sales manager role, that can be really broad. However, when you're hiring, I would imagine you very much know, based on what else you have in the team, what experience you have, whether it's likely that you're going to be looking for someone more junior or someone more experienced within that range. So
Okay.
therefore, I don't think that should be as much of an issue. For example, if you have got three really experienced sales managers and actually there's probably room for someone a bit more junior to come in, then that's okay to put the lower salary range,
Okay.
or make it explicitly clear, because I think, and it works both ways from, I think, also a candidate perspective. Know where you would probably likely sit in that range too. So, for example, the first time that I got a head of department role, I would probably be at the bottom end of the range of that because I haven't got head of experience before versus someone that's been a head of for 10 plus years and got much more
Yeah.
experience or broader experience. So I think it works both ways, for both from an employer and a candidate, of knowing where you'd be in a range. However, you can't know where you're going to be in the range if everything's hidden and you don't know what the ranges are.
Yeah.
So I think it
Okay.
works both ways. So I think it's a fair challenge, and I think yeah, don't think as a candidate you should automatically assume if the range is X to Y, let's go for Y, because it might not be that, you know, you don't fall within that kind of salary range.
Cool. Wicked. So look, we'll quote Lauren Spearman, just use your noddle. That's what we're
Yeah,
going to say.
have a
Yeah.
bit of common sense.
Yeah, yeah, wicked. No, but that's the thing. I do think that. And do you know why? It's because we'd put jobs up before without salary on it. So I saw someone put that you'd put salary transparency. You kind of, but I didn't. Some of you, my initial thought is, I didn't do that, but I'm not wrong. And then I thought about it more, and then your brain starts going, well, just chuck this question. But obviously, like you said, use common sense. If you're looking for a junior
Yeah,
salesperson, put 25k. If you're looking for a sales director, put 140k.
yeah. And
It's not difficult.
I think that's the sometimes the trouble with social media, right? Everything can sometimes come across quite black and white, but there's absolute nuance in that. And I think we're looking for hooks, we're looking for sound bites, but whereas actually, you know, I may put an opinion across, but you know what I say isn't gospel. And actually, just before I got on this call, someone tagged me in a post disagreeing with salary transparency because she was saying if a employer is only putting it on because they have to, it's probably not somewhere she'd want to work. And I think it's a fair challenge, but I also think that there is so much more positive from putting it on than there isn't.
Yeah, 100%. That thing you said at the start as well with employees, I mean, if they wanted to work here enough, they'd do. That's just such a BS thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not spending here to come work for my perfect company because we've got a Google-like office. Great.
I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was like a comedian. It's like, you know, the question of like, why do you want to work here? And it's like, I didn't know your business existed until 3 days ago.
Yeah, literally, which is mostly the case, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Let's I think as business owners, it's like you need to kind of keep your ego in check.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's difficult sometimes, but yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. Totally agree. I think, and for well, in the industries that I've come from, a lot of the time, the new MD or business owner was just very good at that job that they're advertising for. Do you know what I mean? So they should really know what it's like going to look for that job. But a lot of the time, they look after ABC Limited before looking after the employee, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, and of course, it's in your best interest, but it's also, if if it is in your best interest to protect your business, then you should really take hiring seriously.
Yeah.
There's stats at the moment that came out from, so I'm friendly with the founders of Riser, which is an app that hires through video, and they were sharing with me the stats around like 50% of hires don't make it through the first year because of the wrong type of hiring. And I think it's why I'm such an advocate for improving hiring practices. I think I absolutely come with the lens of the candidate, but also as an employer, if you get that right, it serves you so much better in the long term. You keep people in the business, and you know that the compound effect of someone staying there that's a great hire is
Yeah.
such a positive impact for the business.
Yeah, 100% for the team development, lack of training, there's not more money spent, the culture, the business, everything. It's
Yeah,
just massive.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, just do it right, do it right. And then so another thing I saw you've been really passionate about, and it's actually again one thing I'm quite good at knowing when I'm wrong or when I haven't thought about something. And I don't know what the terminology you used for it before was. It was like menstrual sinking or something like that.
Lovely.
Whereby yeah, you kind of like alter a lady in the team's job role or what she's doing the tasks for those 3 to 7 days. Again, I'm probably not right there, but around her sort of menstrual cycle. So talk to me
Yeah.
more about that as well.
Yeah. So a woman's hormonal cycle is 28 days and a men's hormonal cycle is 24 hours. So we've got very different hormonal cycles. And actually I am an absolute kind of novice in this area, but I've been discussing more with friends recently about structuring your work around your menstrual cycle. So on the days that you're on your period, actually, it's really recommended that you don't overexert yourself, because actually the energy that you exert then sets you up for like failure across the rest of the month, and you just feel really exhausted. So for the last year, I've been really practicing on those days that I come on my period to try and schedule as little big social events or things like that as possible. And then similarly, there's times of the month where you're much more active and sociable. And actually, there's a lot of research that says there's so much power in being able to structure your work in that way. And now that this isn't something, again, I'm an expert in, but the more I read up about it, the more I'm like, well, this makes total sense. Like, there's times of the month when you're ovulating and you're feeling like great and confident, really sociable. And actually, that would be amazing to be able to do things that lean into like lean into that a little bit more. But I also realize, it's not, there's no hard and fast rule, but it's the friends that I do know that try to work around their cycle, they just say they have so much more energy. And
Yeah.
so yeah, there's far more people that can speak about it way more eloquently than I can. But I think it's really interesting to know that we're not the same person every single day of the month in terms of how we show up to work.
Yeah, 100%. And what would you? I know, like you say, you're not an expert yet, and people speak about it more eloquently. But what would you say to employers, particularly male employers? Because also there's some women, right, that won't. Like if I had 6 salespeople at my old company that were women, brought them into a meeting room and said, right, when's everyone coming on their periods? Do you know what I mean? That's not going to work. And I know that's a real caveman approach, but I'm telling you now, there'll be so many male employees out there go, well, what do I do? Just send an email around saying when you want.
I don't, and you know what? I don't think it's a caveman approach at all. I think opening up the conversation with curiosity, or like, I'd love to understand your experience, or I've been reading about this, or, giving people a safe space to share their experiences. I think that's the first step. People feeling comfortable to go, oh my God, yeah, there's days where all I want to do is sit on the sofa with a hot water bottle. And actually, I'm happy to work, but I just, I don't want to be having to be the kind of life and soul of the party. But actually, those are the days that I can get loads of admin done and I can tick a load of stuff off. I think the first step is just creating a space where you can open up and have those conversations. And what I will say is, it's not a conversation that I necessarily have loads with my friends. It's just as I've started reading up about it, I've started to explore it. But I think there's real value in opening up that conversation.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, yeah, good thing there is just maybe send an email or team Slack or something around saying, look, we're gonna have a meeting around this. Anyone who feels more comfortable to give me some advice and talk to me about what would work, please jump in. If you're not fussed about being involved, then don't, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to see you do that and see what comes off the back of it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing. So I think I said to you earlier as well. What I'm going to do as well, start in the interview process, is introducing, showing people, or giving them a bit of the contract to take away around maternity leave, even sick, just everything basically. That because I saw a post the other day about a woman feeling uncomfortable asking about maternity because she wanted to have a kid in the next 3 years, and she thought, well, if I say that in the interview, they might not hire me, which is
Yeah,
crazy. It would happen. That would
yeah,
happen. So,
yeah.
yeah, we're going to try and do
And
that.
if you're a fair employer, then having all that information up front so someone doesn't have to ask for it is so powerful.
Yeah, 100%. It never even crossed my mind that someone could have left an interview not and be wondering about that, which is horrible. So yeah, we're going to either start doing it before interviews, saying we'll have a read through. If this is something you're happy with, then we'll do the interview. Or if
Amazing.
we don't do that, just give it to them interview. So take that away, digest it, and sort of let us know what you think. So
That's what we like to
still,
hear.
still baby steps, all
This
baby
is so
steps.
positive. You're a good example of a great employer.
Thanks, I do try. Well, only here, but then I'll get off this one like, right now, change all that. But no, I'm joking. But yeah, we'll wrap up soon. But just one important thing, which I suppose is a really big, all engulfing question. But there's so many people speaking to me about mental health and well-being on LinkedIn through work, and loads of them that it's not through our corporate clients, obviously, because they're being an employee, are just struggling to get into work now. I've massively shed this thing of, well, just go down McDonald's, mate. Do that for now because it's just not the way the world works. But what can people do that are really struggling? So I'm looking at people that are looking for 18 months and not getting work, and what can they do?
I think you've raised a really good point, because this idea of like go and just get a job somewhere else, the reality is you're not going to get hired in those places, because they'll look at your CV and go, well,
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that. There's not the simplicity. Um, I would say there is no shame in sharing that you're looking for work. I think a lot of people, like, shame hides in the shadows, and a lot of people are looking for work but aren't sharing vocally how much they are, share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues, share it with your network. Like, don't be afraid to put an out open to work on banner. Don't be afraid to, oh, there's so much dust in this room. And I think there is so much power in opening up and saying, I'm actively looking. You'll be really surprised how much people want to help. So that's my kind of first step. I would also say one of the things I found, so a couple of years ago, I was 5 months in, I found myself through a period of 5 months where I was unemployed. And the thing that I found for my mental health was the most productive thing was to allocate, like, block time in my diary to job search
Yeah.
and give myself free time otherwise, because I found myself, I was just spending 8 hours a day on LinkedIn looking, and I was feeling exhausted. The same jobs, it's the same jobs coming up. And I remember I had a session with a coach, and she was like, I'm actually going to stop the session because you can't talk because you're so drained. And actually, then I started going, actually, I'm going to do it 2 hours in the morning. This is what I'm going to do, send a load of things out. You will not miss out on something if you're not on LinkedIn for 24 hours. And I think it's really, really important. And I say this as someone that I don't have someone that I depend on financially. Like, I'm not saying this from a place of privilege of like, oh, it's just so easy. Like, don't look 24/7. But I think there's a lot of power in conserving your energy, so when you are job searching, you've just got a bit more focus for it, rather than you're just in the pits of like looking on Indeed and LinkedIn.
Yeah, cracking. That's a great show. Yeah, and setting some time aside just that's massive. With most things, but particularly that, as you say, 'cause it does become just all encompassing, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it can be really soul destroying applying for jobs that that you could do with your eyes closed and
yeah,
not even getting a call back. And that's the reality of how competitive the market is at the moment. And it's symptomatic of the economy. Businesses are a bit more conservative. They're reducing how much they're hiring, but then there's also lots of redundancies. So yeah, I mean, I obviously remain hopeful it's going to turn around, but we are in quite a struggle of a place at the moment.
100%. Yeah, definitely. But thank you. That will help people 100%. So I'll get this out there and see how many people can utilise that to try and help them out. If not just in the short term, mentally. Do you know what I mean? I think it will help from that
Yeah,
point. So
yeah. I think it's probably the reason I'm so passionate about improving hiring practices and the candidate experience,
yeah,
because for the hiring manager, that interview might be an hour of your day, but that actually could be for the candidate something that's so important, as such an important part of their week. And it's why I really shout about making quick decisions with your hiring, not dragging things out, because actually that waiting game is torture.
yeah, 100% it is definitely. Well, thank you. That's really good advice. I love it. Well, we'll wrap up. I'll let you get on with your day. Oh, my voice went then. And the most important bit now is adding a song to the Got a Sec playlist. So, it could be anything. So I think some people like when we've come before. The first one I got was James Brown. The next one was Boom Shake the Room. So everyone's going for like good positive ones at the minute, but it can be anything.
Do
So,
you know, I had a song that came to mind, but given the context of this conversation, I'm going to change it, and
oh,
I'm going to go with, it's by DJ Cozy, and it's called "It'll All Be Over." And
okay,
it's a reminder that whether it's good or bad, time passes and it'll be over. So whether you are in a really tough place, looking for work or whatever, that won't last. It will be over. But equally, when you're in a really good spot, it will be over. So enjoy it. And I think
yeah.
that's the song I'd like to add to the playlist.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna have to ask her what was the original one because I need to know that
Oh,
as well.
can I have two? So my original was "Glow of Love" by Change with Luther Vandross. It is the most feel-good
Oh,
song.
yeah,
Whenever I just want to like perk myself up, I just put it on, and it just makes you go, "Yeah, things will be all right."
that's Janet Jackson sampled that, didn't she, for All For You?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
great tune. That's a
brilliant.
banger. Okay, well, I
Let
might
me have
allow
two on the
two. I don't know.
playlist.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. But all right, great. DJ Cozy will be on there. But yeah, I think at some point, months down the line, if we could do another one, it'd be great because I think this is you've been longer than the first two. So Joe and Ben, who my first two, were like, why'd you speak to her for longer? But yeah, we'll see. But it's just because of the time constraints, I do want to keep them like small little bits of people to digest on a walk or while they're cooking lunch or something like that. But yeah, it's been really helpful. And I'd say so as long as we can help one person, then that's all that really matters,
Yeah,
isn't it?
of course, and always happy to chat to you.
Awesome, legend. Well, yeah, anyone watching, listening, if you've got a sec, you know where I am. But thanks, Lauren. Really appreciate your time, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Listen, catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.